So, hello, welcome back to the discussion on electrostatics in matter. So, this is very short lecture. In this lecture, we'll be discussing about the energy stored in a dielectric system. So, consider a dielectric system with potential V, and if you want to bring an amount of charge, some delta Q charge to it, how much work you have to do? Okay, so if V is the potential of dielectric system, then the amount of work to bring delta Q charge. I can write delta W is equal to V into delta Q. Okay, now this delta Q I can change into in terms of the charge density. So this delta Q, this V d delta Q, I can also write integral V delta rho F dt. Okay, so this delta Q must be free charge, because we cannot move the bound charge as we like. We can move only the free charge according to our wish. Okay, so this is the expression for the work required to bring a small amount of charge. Okay, so then I can change the expression for delta rho f in terms of the electric displacement, because we know that the divergence of electric displacement is given by rho f. Then what would be the divergence of small amount of displacement? That would be equal to the small amount of the charge density rho f. So I can replace this delta rho f with this divergence. So therefore, the small amount of work done by the external agency to bring delta qf amount of charge, I can write as integral v into del dot delta d into d tau. Okay, now it is possible to change this expression in another way, because we know that the divergence of some scalar quantity into a vector quantity can be written as v times del dot delta d plus delta d dot del v. Okay, so del is the operator. So hence v times del dot delta d, v times del dot delta d can be written as the divergence of v into delta d minus delta d dot del v. Now what is minus del v? So minus del v is nothing but the electric field. So I can put a plus here and give a minus here. So this becomes electric field. So v times divergence of delta d can be written in this fashion. So hence the small amount of work I can split into two terms. So first one is the volume integral of divergence del dot v times delta d into d tau, plus the second term is again a volume integration, but the integrand is del d dot minus del v into d tau. Okay, now here you can apply the Gauss's divergence theorem, and I can convert this integral into surface integration. So this would be a surface integral over a surface v times del d dot ds, plus the second integration become delta d dot minus del v is nothing but the electric field d tau. Now if you're integrating over the wall space, okay, So if we integrate our all space, then what would happen is the surface of the integration, the domain of the integration will become the entire space, and the surface would be at infinity. And if the surface is at infinity, then this integral will vanish. This integral will tend to zero if you're going to the at the end of the entire space. Okay, the reason is, so this at this region, so the surface will be at r tends to infinity, so it will be very far from the source, and in those regions the electric displacement will be almost zero, and the potential also would be almost zero. So this term would tend to zero. Obviously the area increases, it is be proportional to r square, but the decrease in the product of v and d would be much greater than r square, so that is why this entire term would tend to zero. And hence we are the small amount of work, I can write the integral over all space delta d dot e times d2. Okay, so delta w, I can write integral delta d dot e times d2. Now for a linear dielectrics, okay, so this energy is applicable for any kind of dielectrics. Okay, now we are changing, we are going for a special case now for linear dielectrics. You know that d is given as epsilon times e. Okay, so therefore delta d equal epsilon times delta e. Okay, so that step is not required for us, so better we can directly go for what is d dot e. So what would be d dot e? So d dot e would be the epsilon times e square. Okay, then what would be the change in d dot e? The change in d dot e will give the epsilon times 2e into delta e. Okay, now epsilon times delta e would give delta d. So this would be equal to 2 times e dot. So if you take this term here, this become epsilon times delta e, and that would be equal to delta d. Okay, so therefore delta d dot e, if you take 2 to the left side, this become half into delta of d dot e. So therefore your delta w for linear dielectrics can be written as half times integral of delta of d dot e times d2. And what would be the complete work? So you can move delta, so the complete work would be equal to half integral d dot e d2. Okay, now this work done will be stored as the energy of the linear dielectric system. Okay, so the energy of a linear dielectric system is given as half times integral of d dot e d2. Okay, now we already know in case of a vacuum, the energy is given as half epsilon zero integral e square d2. So would we, shall we get that expression from here or not? Okay, now in case of vacuum, so vacuum means there is no material. So for vacuum, the polarization is always zero. So therefore, D is simply equal to epsilon 0 times E. Okay, so for vacuum, I can always write D is epsilon 0 times E. So hence, the energy stored, if you substitute the expression for D into the above expression, become half integral epsilon 0 times E dot E times d tau, or this become half epsilon 0 integral E square d tau. Okay, so we are getting the same expression for the energy stored in case of a vacuum in the electric field. Okay, so there is nothing problem here because I can use this result for the linear direct system, and it becomes the energy stored in case of a vacuum if you put the polarization 0. Okay, so this is a correct expression. Okay, so we require to know this expression when we are dealing certain problems. Okay, now remember, not that this expression is not valid for a general dielectric. It is valid only for linear dielectric. For general dielectric system, to calculate the energy stored in the system is very cumbersome. The reason is it contains a very large number of bound charges, and those bound charges are will be very difficult to move. Like we have to spend so much of energy for its movement and all. Okay, so even for linear direct system also we have the same difficulty, but in nature we have mathematically we can easily calculate the energy of such linear direct system. Okay, so that is a fortunate thing, but unfortunately we cannot have a very good expression for the energy stored in case of a dielectric system in general, but in linear direct system we have very good expression. Okay, so we can stop it here. So in the next class we'll be discussing about the force experienced by a dielectric system. Okay, thank you.